Guys, welcome again to another episode of Beyond the Game with yours truly, myself, Juicy J. Guys, listen, for my new subscribers, welcome, all right? Hope you guys have a wonderful time here with us. And to my original subscribers, guys, you know the vibes, we're keeping it nice and cool, calm and collected, yeah? So please, before you do anything else, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Please, don't just chill here. All right. We are at another episode again. And today I am really, really honored to be sitting with a legend, right, in the rugby fraternity. There's a rugby legend. He has done it all, from playing the game to coaching the game and coaching, the Springboks and also various teams like the Stormers, the Eastern Province, EP Elephants. I mean, he's done it all, and I mean, he's a wonderful character as well. Quite a sniper, very handsome looking guy, so please don't look at him with those eyes, just look at him carefully. Mr. Allister Coetzee, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you, Sia. I'm not too sure about the handsome stuff,
You're not too sure about the handsome?
I'm not too sure about that, but brilliant. Nice to be part of your podcast, Sia, and thanks for having me.
Oh, no, thank you so much, sir. This is a moment right here, guys. So let me also take this in, because if you know who I'm talking to right now, listen, I have goosebumps also sitting here. So let me just start with the most basic one. How are you feeling? I mean, I know you're a busy man now, trying to kick off, the SA Cup competition and just trying to put things together. And you are back in Eastern Province with the EP Elephants. How are you feeling? I just wanted to let you know how you holding up.
Yeah, see, it's quite a big question to answer. I'm feeling, all the emotions inside me. But I think the most important thing for me is I'm really happy to be back in the Bay, as they say now, but back in PE. I was born in Grahamstown, went to school at Mary Waters, matriculated at Mary Waters High School. Then I came to PE, in 1982, and spent my entire teaching career in which is more than 20 years in PE until I left in 2008, for Cape Town. And now, and traveled the world, let's not go into that. Yeah. But I'm back again, it's almost full circle for me. Yes. Circle, yeah. And it's so, so lucky and privileged and blessed to be back in PE. Where this place has been good to me, the sport has been good to me, and just to come back and give back to the community in PE is absolutely a wonderful opportunity.
That's really great. I'm sure I speak for a whole lot of other people in rugby fans when I say I think we're really glad to have you around here. I just want to quickly just before we get into everything else, I just want to just for the sake of the viewers as well that are watching, just to go back to your roots a little bit. You were born in Makhanda, they call it Grahamstown.
First in Makhanda.
Just want to go back to those days when you spent your childhood and how was it growing up for you back in that time. The things that really shaped you and the things that you liked about the city.
Yeah, you look. I've got to really make sure now I go down memory lane. Makhanda, Grahamstown, small little town. It's like a university town, Rhodes University. And back in the apartheid days, when I think about it, and I think of the influence of my family, who was a sporting family, and it's a small community, so the people love sport in Grahamstown in general, Like I say, I grew up there. Unfortunately, lost my father very early in my life, and grew up in a family. Was raised by my mum, obviously, with an elder brother, younger one, and a sister. So we've got three. We're a family of 4 children, And they were both teachers. My dad used to be the deputy headmaster at Mary Waters. My mom was a kindergarten teacher. So, you know, the pressure of growing up with those kind of parents, you know, you could never, you know, sort of step out of line. And I hated that. And I was always rebellious about it, you know. And but also learned some good lessons. And I think the most important thing about sport and growing up in a family where there's some solid family values, you never forget those values, you know. And I could have gone down the other way, you understand, but especially when the politics of the time was still so focused on, you know, growing up in the 70s, I was at high school, and remember what happened in 1976. So I remember one day, the special branch, it was called the special branch, we had meetings, like political meetings, and we would attend funerals of students who've been, you know, and political activists who was buried in the Joza location at the time, and we from the so-called colored townships, we had to attend those funerals, you know, but we had to camouflage ourselves.
Was it a compulsory thing?
Because you couldn't have a gathering was illegal of more than 20 people. You know, that was a political gathering. And then you know, the parents didn't know those kind of things, and we shot over to the funeral, and because we were comrades, man. We were big comrades then. But until one day, and we did sport, and obviously being on the SRC over the school, you have to go that way as well, you know. But I will never forget one day, and my mum called, I was called from school at around about 12ish, and to her primary school. And as I walked into the principal office there, you know, I saw two white guys. I said, geez, man, you could see that these oaks are not like here for a visit, you know, or a social visit. And the one was called Inspector Else. Inspector Else, yeah.
Was he a big guy?
Of course, you know, big boy. You could see they're not here for having fun day, you know. And, you know, as I sat down, and Inspector Else told my mother, Mrs. Coetzee, you've got two very talented sportsmen. Tell them to stay out of the politics. Stern warning. Jeez, where does... We've got information. You went to meeting in Port Elizabeth. You've been attending funerals in Joza location. Jeez, I was like you know, shaking you because they had all the information, and it was spot on, you know. And but that made me actually a bit more determined to stuff these oaks, man. When I left, I promised you, I know I'll stay away and blah, 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 you know, with my mom obviously panicking, nervous. And the long and short of it, I had to make a choice between really going into the politics full time or go sports. Yes. And obviously, you know, with my parents and their sporting background, you know, after having a good, you know, sort of chat about it and that, no, I chose that route. So that's where the sport started, really, you know, and the influence of the Rhodes students were huge, because the guys who came to Rhodes were comrades, man. And these comrades coached us tennis and things like that. And you will always have that, you know, but they could see there was a bit of talent, and I was coached into the sporting direction.
And you took that direction. I just want to quickly ask then, you mentioned that, you know, your dad passed away during your upbringing, and your mom had to obviously, you know, look after and be the dad and the mom. How did that sort of like affect your upbringing then, you know, having to just adjust without, you know, a father figure in your life?
It is quite a good question, because we have so many single moms and boys who are growing up or who are raised by a single mom. That, I've learned, taught me resilience in life from a very early age. So my eldest brother, he had to play that role. So when he left house to go study, I was the next guy in charge because I had 2 siblings to support my mum.
Yeah.
So in that sense, nowadays we had to survive with hand downs. So we had to look after the boot who was studying away from home in PE. He must get the best, clothing-wise, whatever. He must get everything. You oak staying back at home, you got to take the hand downs, and be happy with that. And hang in there and make do with that. So you were really taught things like you've got to hang in, you don't give up, you stay strong and be grateful for what you have, And just growing up without a father taught a lot of things like take responsibility, take ownership. You've got to really make sure to support your mum. And so I was from a young age accountable for a lot of things, knowing that is where our leadership starts. Yeah. Just leading my sister and my brother, youngest brother, leading them, that's where leadership started. Sort of, you're developing, and that little seed was planted in that adversity of not having a dad. And that was quite at an early stage pointed out by my mom as well. Yeah, but I had to help with making an apparatus for junior primary, KG teacher, geez, drawing butterflies, coloring in this and things like that. So although it was tough, but also a lot of spin-offs, good things came from that, And I suppose, when I left home, my eldest brother, he came back to teach back at Merriwater. So I was one away again, studying in PE, becoming a teacher. But I never went back to Grahamstown again, So the rugby actually kept me here. Okay. Yeah, he was also a good sportsman, but played rugby and cricket, but he was a better cricketer. He played Nuffield Trials, but he went back to teach in Grahamstown. Okay. Ended up as a headmaster as well in Grahamstown.
Is it
still in Grahamstown, retired. Youngest brother's headmaster at George Dickinson Primary now. Sister was in teaching, taught also for 10 years, then into government, and she's in East London at the moment. Yeah. So I was the only one, always a bit rebellious, like my own thing.
Have you always been a rebellious?
Yeah, a bit of a rebel in me. Stayed behind in PE. So played for the college, Dower College. We played in the EP Rugby Union firstly, and we were really a good team. When you just hit those periods where you're a good group of rugby players together, and we were outstanding in the league. I started representing EP, played for EP while at college. After college, club sort of said, no, you have to stay here, we'll keep you here, we'll give you a teaching post, permanent. I walked straight into a permanent post in PE, and I never went back to Grahamstown, never went back. Oh, yeah, man. And obviously Grahamstown was renowned for its festivals.
Yes.
Yeah, the Grahamstown festivals. I mean, that is when the town was pumping, We were looking forward to it.
Did they call it the G-Fest back?
The G-Fest then, exactly, So I put a couch in me from a young age, We attended these shows and with the students. Man. And
I can begin to imagine you, being wildy and rowdy.
I'm telling you, this rebellious nature with the students. Fortunately, because of the sport, never went in too naughty things. Too bad stuff. And it was happening. But that's a value of sort of a good upbringing, a solid, mum. I just want to make this point here that sometimes you underestimate the importance of a mother. And when I look back at my life, she's passed on, by the way, after COVID, just during the COVID bad times. But and I was never sorry or had any regrets after she passed on. I was away for long stints in my coaching career. And she said to me, you know what? You missed your grandmother's funeral. You missed your this aunt's funeral and that. Make sure you're here when I'm not here one day. And you won't believe me.
Drop everything and
wherever you are, doesn't matter. And you won't believe me, I was in Japan, coaching in Japan, when COVID broke out.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So the Japanese, and they were very, very strict with these kind of things. I mean, they've been wearing masks all along, way before COVID. Japanese,
In that,
hygienically, they've been, because it's a huge population in the trains and that, so they have been wearing these kind of things. And when it broke out, we didn't train at all. So for 2 weeks, we did nothing. We didn't go to work at all. So we laid back at home and stayed at home. And the GM said, listen, guys, there'll be a lockdown soon, so no flights out of Japan. Okay, and I thought to myself, no, I can't get stuck in Japan, because it was indefinite, the lockdown at the time.
Okay.
It was indefinite.
So you knew that.
I had, I have to leave here, contract or no contract. And in fact, I spoke to them, and they were really reasonable, all the South Africans. We actually got the last flight out. Because as we went to Tokyo Airport, Haneda Airport, we could get a flight to Dubai. But then, no flights out of Dubai. So Dubai was locked down as well. And we were fortunate on Qatar Airways. We got a flight out to Doha to South Africa. That was the last flight out. I made that flight. I was, on that flight. Stayed for a week in Johannesburg, quarantine, and you get tested for a week long, pricking those swabs in your nose. And days. It was a terrible time. Remember that time?
Yeah.
Terrible time. Wake up every morning, a little hotel in Joburg. Yes, living in a small little room. Knock at the door, food parcel. That was for a week. That was like in a prison, man. And then we got out. All the results were positive. Then I could go I was released to come to Cape Town. Sorry.
Okay, so you stayed in Cape Town.
I was living in our family. No, straight to Cape Town. So that's where I live, still living. Okay, and then obviously Cape Town, the family all based in the Eastern Cape. What now? So, and then COVID struck with my in-laws first. So I lost my father-in-law and a sister-in-law. That was in July. And then my mum passed on in December. And I was here for a funeral during COVID. And I made that. But it was like those kind of funerals. Man, it was an unbelievable, terrible experience. People with hazmat suits and covering and no people, it was just, it's a
so you
terrible time. But the big thing is I was there for a memorial service and the funeral,
So when you got the news, because I could imagine that your mom, was definitely everything to you, with you growing up and the sacrifices that she had made, having to also step up after your dad had passed. And in that moment of receiving the news that, she is no more, how did that make you feel?
The big thing is, obviously you will be emotional, but we were brought up in a Christian family as well, and you know that the Lord is in control of that, I had to accept it very quickly, and the mourning was normal part of it, but I had no regrets. I haven't spent a lot of time with her physically, but a lot of time talking. Every day, talking to her, how she was feeling, what she's doing. Even in Japan, and she couldn't understand the time zones. But what do you mean now? It's 12 o'clock there. Yeah. And they already on 7 going, and I say, I have to sit up to talk to you when you wake up in the morning. Okay, then, things like that. But we spend a lot of time. And I made sure she was comfortable, with, she was 83 when she passed on. But, she had a sort of a comfortable life after retiring. So we made sure of that. She was,
That
she was good. Yeah.
sorted
And she hated the rugby precious, but she loved it so much, because my son is his team that, and then my brother showed me a picture one day, just a video of her sitting and watching in a room, but she had the duvet on her head, and whenever the Bulls are in out 22, she would close her eyes. When the box play, when the guys are about to kick, yeah, shame. And she sort of lived that with me, being part of every step of the way.
Every step of the way.
Yeah, now we made peace and we had great times together. Yeah,
No,
fantastic.
That is wonderful.
Now, the point I want to make and say that you only realize when she's not there, you question how much could I have done more. You understand? So I was happy. Content with it.
That's really good. So, and I think now just, also just circling back, I mean, you said you were a very mischievous guy, which also explains your choice of position in rugby. You played
100%.
You played scrum off.
Yeah.
And you played for the junior Springboks back in 1992, if I'm
92, you're 100% right.
In that time, obviously the transition from playing in high school, provincial, junior leagues to, was there like that ambition to play Springboks one day? Like for you, was it there? Like did you
I
want
would,
to
I
play
would
for the
lie
national
if I say I had no ambition to represent your country. But at that time, the country wasn't like my country.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So
Yeah.
I had heroes in the 1974 British and Irish Lions. Then the British Lions, Ireland weren't part of them. So it was Willie John McBride and J.J. Williams, J.P.R. Williams, Gareth Edwards, Phil Bennett. You won't know those names.
And I was
1974, you running up in the mountains, I don't know where, those guys. And we had like books where we'd cut out pictures and paste it in, of the British and Irish Lions. My mum bought us actually a set with the team photos, every player's little card and stats on it. So from that young age, I knew about how much he weighed, his height, his position, number of caps, things like that, a little bit of games that we've got, British and Irish. So yes, we were supporting the overseas players just because of the system.
Okay.
The apartheid system that I remember the times when the All Blacks played against the Boks, no television yet. Obviously, we listened to the radio. And then my dad and his colleagues would listen to, the game, early morning coffees when they play in New Zealand. And obviously, they were all there and Sid Going, Colin Meads and these guys, So, maybe I like Sid Going. I Sid Going, I like, one day, it was something that was planted,
planted in your
to
head.
play one day, represent your country.
No, and then did you obviously got the opportunity to actually wear the green and gold?
Yeah, it was, so when after in the unification setup, so we had two South African rugby unions. So one was the South African Football Rugby Union, which was the establishment, and then the non-racial one that was under SACOS, South African Council of Sport, which had the slogan of no normal sport in an abnormal society. That was the movement side. You understand, the Congress side.
The Congress side,
Yes, that was fighting against apartheid. So the sport was there and also used as a tool to fight apartheid, to break down the barriers of apartheid. Do you understand? So I played in that. That is the old other side.
The other side.
And they had a slogan, non-racial sport, of no normal sport in an abnormal society. Because it was simple. And it was put simple to us that while you play sport and a multiracial, right, sport or it wasn't multiracial then. It was called, what was it called again? Where you have a white team playing against a black team, or white team playing against a colored team. You won't know these things. You won't know. You didn't grow up in that. So we said, yes, why must we play like that? And after the game, those oaks go into the showers and the cloakrooms, and we must go home. Because we couldn't use or enter the amenities. We couldn't use, So that is why we had this establishment of not playing normal sport as if it's normal. But life is not normal. We can't go and celebrate or function or do it together. Because we can't go there. Some oaks couldn't get a trophy in the golf. I'm thinking about the golfer called Papua Sugalam from Durban. He won the SA Open. He beat Gary Player, the best white player in South Africa. He beat him. But they had to hand his trophy out on the putting green outside because he was not allowed in the clubhouse. Yes, those kind of things. So, yes, that is how the sport evolved, with the abnormal society that we lived in. But then it started changing. I remember I played for Eastern Province. EP played in the Super 10 those years, 1992. Yeah. And they ended third in the Currie Cup. So we unified in 92. And I immediately made the EP side, the Currie Cup side. Yeah. Played with Garth Wright and these guys. I was his understudy as a scrum half. Then we went to Australia and New Zealand. We played the Crusaders there. We played the Highlanders there. Damn, that was tough, in those years. But I got my first opportunity to vote in 1992 in New Zealand. In New Zealand.
So you guys voted?
We voted at the consulate there, the South African embassy. Yeah. So that was my first time I ever voted in my life in 1992 in New Zealand, in Wellington. So unbelievable experiences over the years. So the point that we're getting back to, so I played for Eastern Province, and then I got selected for the junior Springbok team.
Yes.
The first junior Springbok team who went out of the country. So to say...
That's the first junior Springbok team that travelled out the country.
Yes, the newly formed, non-racial.
Okay.
So non-racial, team that went out of the country. And we went to Namibia, can you believe it? We went to Namibia and we played there, a match against the national side of Namibia.
Yeah, because I can imagine, when you say there's like two sides, and obviously the other side is fighting to actually just break the boundaries to get to the other side.
Yes.
Because probably the other side was probably given more or deemed to be the
establishment.
The main
side,
people. So when you say that, you traveled out the country with the junior Springboks, the main ones, how did that feel? Did you feel like, also you just, part of the big boys now?
And no, it was quite enjoyable, I must say. And look, rugby plays at a national level, quite down-to-earth guys, I must say that. Yeah, they're really normal people. And I must say, even amongst the different races, and especially in the rugby environment, when the guys respect you, no issues. But as the policymakers who sits in parliament, they were the guys who didn't understand.
They didn't understand what was going on.
And obviously the policies of the country at the time. But we went there, we had some great fun. It was myself, Armando Priya, Adri Geldenhuys. I think we were only three guys from EP who made that junior Springbok side in 1992. Okay. Fantastic tour. We enjoyed it thoroughly, came back to EP again, In those days it was tough. It's just the transition, because the guys on the other side didn't want to give in, certain privileges and things like that. It was tough, I mean, if you look at where we are today, we can just praise the Lord for that and say thanks heaven that there's no more bloodshed and the fighting, and it's becoming look at the opportunities you got here. You went to good schools, you went to, you understand what I'm saying? And that's why I tell youngsters nowadays, for make it in life, you have no excuses.
No excuse, because everything is there.
You've got all the opportunities you can get.
It's just up to you.
The problem is you don't want to work. That's the only difference.
And then Coaching, right? When did you discover the path of, okay, like now I want to go coaching? The day that you decided, oh, now I'm sitting in this couch and I'm like, my playing days are over. I've come to a realization that maybe my role could be different. Can you please just describe that for me? Like, how did the transition work out for you?
Yeah, it was something that I never planned. I never planned to become a coach at the age of 34, whatever, I played club rugby. It was called PE Harlequins. And I played Eastern Province. And when you play to a high level, you go back to your club, you always try to impart that knowledge and you give back to the club.
Yes.
Correct. And then I captained the Harlequins for a long time, was vice captain at EP at some stage. And you always help other players, make sure they improve. And as a teacher also, it is part of the character of building relationships with people, parents, teachers, with the players, the other coaches, and share knowledge, understanding how the methodology of teaching works, get it across. And then it just started growing at Harlequins. Guys would then said no. I was going to retire. I retired 3 times. 3 times in my life, and now you have to keep going. So I became a player coach type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I said, okay, this is enjoyable.
Actually,
I like it. Yeah.
You like being the guy that's gonna be telling people what to do.
I'm teaching. I'm still teaching. It's still part of teaching. So became a player coach, and then I just said to them in 2006, I got up this morning, and that's it. I'm finished. And once I'm,
Just like that?
Yes, yeah, I just felt, I'm not excited about training, about playing this weekend club rugby. So I finished that one particular game, and I said, boys, that's the last one. Time. Draw the curtains, that's me. And it was finished, it was over, yeah.
And then, what was the initial plan? Did you have a plan of, okay, that's where I'll start. I'll start maybe coaching at schoolboy rugby, and then I'll build myself up. Did the ambition of you becoming a Springbok coach one day, was it like...
Never there. It was never there. And that is...
They were just cruising, going with the flow.
I was coaching, school, coaching, club, and the secret is what you do where you're actually involved in. You must make sure you get the best out of those players, right? And it went well. And not long, I got called up by EP. I remember Mkhweli Brandt at UP, used to be, Mkhweli called me, he was a coach of EP then, and he said, listen, Allister, I want you to do 2 jobs for me here. I want you to manage the team as a manager. Yeah. So I started. And first as a manager. So, okay, no, fine, I'm cool. So he would coach the backline, he's head coach. He would coach the backline. And there was a forward coach. I can't remember who the forwards coach was at the time. And then, obviously, Mkhweli saw that, his head coach role is a bit tough here in the EP. I can't still. And then he said, man, you scrum off in your days, and I spoke to the players. Well, look here, you're going to be the backline coach now. That's where it started, 1997.
Okay.
1997, I started as a manager, 98 as an assistant coach backline with Andom Mkhweli in EP.
Was it the same year or close to the year that you won the Vodacom Cup?
That was the year. The Shield, the Vodacom Shield. Then I was head coach of the Vodacom Shield, when we won it, for the first time. You've done your homework, eh? I never knew you would find that out,
What you normally preach at us at training, preparation is key, gentlemen. preparations
Know
when
your
you
job,
find
do
your
your
kid.
job.
Do your know your job. Yes, sir.
Do your job, yeah.
No, that's wonderful. And then the call up to the Springboks. Let me just ask then, like the job that you got that propelled you to a Springbok call up. You know, because I think at first with the 2007 World Cup, you were
Yes.
assistant coach with Jake White.
Yes, correct.
So the job that propelled you to that, because I'm imagine the journey started from you being the side that won the Vodacom Shield with EP, and then from there you probably moved. Like, what probably cemented you to be like, okay, this is the guy, the right guy for the job.
So now I'm in this EP job,
Yeah.
right? Assisting Mkweli. And 98 assisting Mkweli. 99 assisting Nelly Smith. 99, Johan Kleitz. 2000 Kleitz. 2001 I'm Nelly. 2002 Nelly Smith. So it was good coaches that I've worked under, you know. And
Okay.
you understand that EP.
So it's fair to say you have the top assists.
You
know what I'm
look, and
That's a good one.
yeah,
I like that.
and 2003, I got the head coach job at EP.
Yes.
It was tough. It was tough, and it's always tough in the Eastern Cape. You know, that's why once you leave EP, you always make it somewhere else. Because it's a hell of a challenge.
Because the grind here,
Yeah,
it prepares
complete.
you. It prepares you.
Man,
for
I'm
it,
telling
know?
you, it's a solid grind. And 2004, so the first year with EP, 2004, Jake got the Springboks coaching job. But in 2003, there was an SA Under-23 team that also played in almost like an African Cup against Zimbabwe and Kenya, Morocco, these kind of African countries. Then while coaching EP, I did the SA Under-23s. And Jake, in 2002 and 3, he coached the Under-21s, I think. 22 or 23. So he was there. So I had my first bit of contact with him when we chatted about Under-21 players, because after 21 there's a massive gap to become a Springbok. Yeah, we didn't have a junior Springbok set up yet, so the transition from there to junior Springbok is too big, and that's why they brought in the SA Under-23. So that's how I hooked up with him, and we had to discuss the Under-21 players that could sort of graduate to Under-23s, you know. I was coaching that side, he had the Under-21s. So when he got the Springbok job, he knew of me, and you understand, and he had obviously they speak to players, and players would give their recommendations. But I wasn't supposed to be his assistant coach initially. SA Rugby wanted Chester Williams to be the coach there. And Jess, I think at that point, Chester thought he should have gotten the head coach job. But unfortunately, he didn't get it, and then he didn't want to be an assistant coach to Jake. Then
He didn't want to.
Yeah, that is what the story was.
The story, okay.
Yeah, and then obviously the next guy Jake thought of that he's been working with is me, and then he said, no, I've got my man. And I also think that he wanted me in the first place, but then SA Rugby said, no, this is the guy that they want in the mix. And then he refused, and then that's how I got in there.
Then, that was a slow turn.
Yes, then it started.
And you were the main
national.
boss. You were the head of the ship.
So the bottom line is you can never say I want to be the head coach of EP in 2-3 years' time. That's not how it happens. Doesn't go in a straight line. Where you coach at your club, you coach, and you coach to the best of your ability and you make sure, because what happens then, players talk. Players talk, you guys talk. You go say, no, shit, but I feel I developed now. I feel this is getting, and that's how, by word of mouth.
But word of mouth then.
Not a CV. CV with all those nice words and levels, and no, that doesn't coach.
I think I need to go do some more talking. You know?
So that's how we ended up there,
Yeah.
you know. And it was a brilliant stint with Jake White. You know, you hit the right cycle with the right players, with experience. If you remember, in the Rudolph Strowley era before Jake, yeah, they had this Kamstaldraad, and there was a lot of negative things in that. And all of a sudden, those players, Victor Matfields, John Smiths, Farid Dupree, Butch James, Jaco van der Westhuys, and Joe van Niekerk, Johan Smith, Os Durant. You know, those players were actually at the peak. From juniors, they were actually sort of senior players. And we kept the same squad from 2004 to 2007, and then Jake won the World Cup.
So it was like that much needed build-up.
Build up in the continuity with the same group of players.
So then now with that transition, with, you know, Jake leaving and you taking up the reins, how did you deal with, you know, the pressure of, you know, the 2016, 2018 era, just after, you know, Henry Kameya?
Yes.
Like, because, I mean, I think that time was like probably like a pressure time.
Oh, man, it was...
You know, coaching, you know, the Springboks. How did you deal with that and the expectation that, you know, was, you know, for you at the job, and how, you know how South African rugby supporters can be?
The expectation is a massive thing. I was coaching in Japan at the time. In 2015, I finished at the Stormers, my last coaching job. I got the opportunity there. I could have stayed on by the Stormers, but I thought I had enough. 8 years with the Stormers is long enough, you know. I needed a different sort of challenge, and you don't get opportunities to go coach overseas too often, you know. And I thought, nah, Stormers, great. Move on, someone else, it's time to move on. Got the opportunity in Japan, Kobelco Steelers, fantastic club. Man, it was one hell of an experience. I was there 2015, one season, 2016. Then I got called by SA Rugby about the Springbok job. Yes. Now I'm on a 3-year contract with Kobelco Steelers.
Yeah.
And I went to the Japanese, and that's how they are, you know, honest people. What they say is what they do. Their word is better than a contract, I promise you. Once they've given you their word, it will be like that. So I was open and honest with them. I said, listen, I've got a 3-year contract with you guys. I was just called by SA Rugby Union. I just want to inform you about this, but I would see my contract out. If you guys say no, you must say, I'll definitely say it, no problem. Then the president of the club is also been the president of Japan Rugby Union, Hirao-san, and he said to me, no, when your country calls, you have to go. You've got to go. That is a national call. You've got to go. And as you speak to your family, because this is so huge, the type of job that you're going to take, you know, it's very huge. I mean, not even the big companies get audited every weekend like a national coach. You don't know if father's house, you know, the issues that it's not in the paper. They got lots of issues, but no one knows about it. Their finances, nothing, no one knows about it. But as a national coach,
you're in the spotlight.
Man, everything is out there every weekend. And when you lose even more, you know, then it's more things come out, because the national job, and especially in rugby, it's like they say, rugby in South Africa, it's a religion. 100% correct. But it's more than a religion. So sport has the ability to unify a country, unify a multi-cultural society like us. That's why the transformation was a vital thing. And it's an important thing, because different races representing this country, you know, offers a lot to all their supporters.
Yeah.
So people come, and not just a black person, but something in Siya Kolisi is what he sees in himself. Something about Kwagga. He sees that in himself when he plays that weekend. So the whole country and a lot of people identify with what is happening, on the field.
On the field, yeah.
That's why I like Cheslin Colby. Man, that man is a fighter. Look how small he is. I'm just as small. And I must learn to fight. That's why people support. That's what they come and watch. And the point I want to make about this job is it's a calling. I spoke to the family, and the big thing that came out, look, my wife is my biggest, she's my selector. She helps me select teams, and not that she helps me, but she can tell me sometimes, hey, you shouldn't have picked that guy. It's like, listen, let's not argue and fight and this now. But why did you sign him? What is it? So she's my, soundboard. And I can tell me, there's no pity parties there, my man. When the team performed poorly, or you made bad choices, I get it straight.
She comes back
yeah,
with the
she
heat.
goes straight. Yeah, you said this, and now you did that. So
I told you not to do that.
Absolutely, Sexcat, this is not mixing soup here. I mean, it's not like putting more carrots or.
She must come and be your
Then
coach.
she says, yeah, you're a bully again. Why do you refer me to the kitchen? She said, listen, if you're not going to take this job, you'll always have regrets. So I explained to the situation. SA Rugby is not in a good state at the moment. There's a lot of players who are finishing off. Your Victor Matfields, John Smith, Fourie de Pre, Skalkberger, Jean de Villiers. So it was the core, Percy Montgomery, the core of that team. So you got to start all over. Yes, and you start all over with South African Rugby Union that is not a united South African Rugby Union.
Okay.
In my time, I never could have training camps. I'm not making excuses, but the point I'm trying to make is put into perspective is the stumbling blocks that you had to go through that 2016 period. So I got appointed in April. The first test is May against Ireland in South. So you have no training camps. You see the players 2 weeks before the test. Then you see the players. Now the players don't belong to SA Rugby. They still belong to the Lions, to the Stormers. It's their players. They don't need contracts with SA Rugby. So you ask for a training camp. No, you can't, because it wasn't previously, the previous year or season, it was not requested by SA Rugby. So we're not obliged to send no players.
So basically you had to roll with the punches.
My man had to roll with the punches. And
the punches were punching.
It was like Tyson punches, man, It's bang, bang, knockout, So 2 players spoke to me. It was Brian Abena and who was the other guy? I like 2 players who, I think it was Skalk or Jean, one of the 2. Because I had them at the Stormers for a long time. Brian was still playing at his
prime.
No, just other side. It's like his swan song sort of year.
I
was a bit over the hill, but we needed that experience in Brian, and I could speak to him, and he said to me, "Yes, coach, I don't think this is the right time to take this job." So you had these sort of. You trust these oaks, they're open and honest to you, but yet on the other side also, hey, will you ever get this opportunity again? So besides that, I said to them, okay, boys, I'm going to give it my best shot. Man. The thing about the right time, you'll wait forever, and then it's not the right time.
It's not the right.
So when you get an opportunity, you have to take it. You're either going to make it or not. But if you not make it and you learn from it, it's also the right time. You grow and you learn, it's also the right time. So 2016, very tough. Remember, players were overseas. Your most experienced players were overseas. They couldn't come back because they didn't play more than 50 test caps. So I couldn't call on those guys. That's how tough it was. The finances of SA Rugby, not in a good space. But be that as it may, it was 2017 picked up much better. I got given, by SA Rugby, I got given a management team. This is your assistant coach, this is your physio, this is your that, this is... I mean, there's no coach that can ever or would ever accept that. But I still said, man, doesn't matter. Because I had 6 guys on my management team who was never involved in a Currie Cup game at that point in time.
Yeah.
Who never involved in a first-class game. Most of them came from the under-21s. So the only guy I took with me was Matt Proudfoot, a guy, the forwards coach who coached with me in Japan. So I got him back with me. You have to have a confidant, a guy like, that you trust, and you've got to... Yeah, it was quite tough. 2017 went much better. I think we started with 6. We won the French series in South Africa. But in all, with all the challenges, it was never meant for me.
Okay.
The job was never meant for me. I was just a transitional phase to get the next guy in.
Okay.
And then I could see that to the working way. But what a great experience. Unbelievable experience. In the tough times, was also all right,
Yeah.
And in those tough times, I actually learned how to pray. Promise you. Yes. I actually learned how to pray about these things and still see the positives.
Positive side.
Yes, man, I'm sitting in the church building here. I sound like a preacher now, but that actually drove me to my knees. I promise you. What is happening here? What the expectation, how tough, how brutal it is, unbelievable.
I can imagine because
you can imagine the social media, everything.
Oh, that's
and how we had to make sure I protect my family but the word of the Lord is so amazing, and I find solitude. I found no anxiety when I was on my knees. Nothing. Just amazing that I went through this without, collapsing or getting a nervous breakdown. And I promise you. But it's so many lessons that I've learned. And I must say, I had build good relationships with people in the tough times. And also, when you a test match is so much at stake. The preparation for people who watch the Springboks play, they think it's easy. It's a hell of a week going into a test week. And when they lose, the lows are so low, and the guys are so shattered because they just dropped the nation. They just, sort of disappointed.
People
looking,
young kids.
But when a test high, it's so high and it's so enjoyable. It's so satisfying, But the thing about sport, it's not always about winning and losing. Honestly, it's more. It's beyond the game. It's beyond the game.
It is beyond the game. Guys, did you hear that? It is beyond the... I need to put a nail on that, actually. It is beyond the game.
It's beyond the game. And what that meant to me, I was confronted with one situation, why say beyond the game. Maybe I should wrap it up with this. I don't know. But...
Give it to us. Give it to us.
This massive test for a particular player, and I think he was in his 90th, and I'm not going to mention names.
Okay.
This guy had a family issue, right, which is a crucial family issue. And the Monday, I had a chat to his wife, and it was really a sad story, blah, blah, blah. And it was just, the relationship between the two. And I had to make a decision whether I want to select him for the up-and-coming test or send him home to fix what was broken. I called the psychologists, I called the team management, the guys, the forwards coach. Obviously, the forwards coach wanted the guy to play because he's a vital player in the team. Man, I didn't know what happened to the psychologist. He just ducked. He was nowhere. Eventually, I had to make my decision. And my decision is always based on the Black Book. B-I-B-E-L. That is a B-Y-B-E-L, the Bible. That is where I get my strength and my compass. Even team selection. I said to him, okay, my brother, you're not playing this weekend. You go home and you go fix what's broken. There'll be many more tests for you to play. Today, still happily married. And he continued to play after that. Said, if I saved your marriage, then I'm a happy coach. Don't worry about the test results. Those things disappear.
Yeah, they fade away.
They fade away. People don't remember. Yeah, you still sit there. And I made that decision. I told him, no. I said, yes, coach, my parents have flown to come and watch the test. I say they flew in at the right time to go and support you there, to fix this thing. But those are the things for me. So when I'm coaching, it's not just technical things, it's character. That's beyond the game. That's why I like this program. And you actually learn a hell of a lot of lessons, life lessons about, and that is what rugby players respect as well. One day when I walk down the road, I see Tema Boltina coming there with his son. He'll tell his son, no, we can't run away. I must face the coach now, And he'll tell his son, this man, he gave me a hard time, a boy, but A, B, and C.
B, A, B, C,
Not he sees me, then Tema runs this way. He doesn't want to look at me because
I don't think he can run.
Fortunately can't.
I think,
sidestep or whatever. So we've got to make sure that we work with players, become good athletes, but great citizens. Husbands to their wives, fathers to their children. That's what life is about.
I think that's one thing I always admire, with the coach and the coaching job, and the coaches that I've worked with as well. In as much as sucking their knowledge about the game like a sponge, there's a lot of, outside things that they work with, and they tend to see you as not just more as a player, but as a human being, and try to coach that side as well. Teaching you responsibility, how to roll with the punches that you take.
100%.
Because I think that was also transition to the players to be able to, when things get tough. I still quote one of my coaches until this day, David Manuel.
100%.
Listen, I quote him every single time someone asks me, hey, listen, what advice do you have for something? Okay, David Manuel, come on, let me go to his book.
Let me reflect on what I learned in the game.
In the game, so that's why beyond the game yet again,
very
because the lessons that we truly learn. I think let's just play a bit of fun game together, shall we?
I'm not good at fun games.
Let's rank. What are we ranking? Should we rank teams or players? Let's go to players.
Why not teams? It's personal players. Let's go teams.
No, I'm going. I am going to. I know you've.
Did you say Temba Boltina 2? What did you say?
Well, he plays number 2.
Yes. Okay. You're right. Then you're right. I never said 2 out of something. I just said Temba Boltina 2.
All right. So we're gonna rank players. So I need your top 5 players, your best top 5 players that you've worked with.
Okay, I'll go 1 Skalkberger, 2 Fourie du Preez, 3 John Smith, 4 Jean de Villiers. This is now, can we make it 6?
For you, I'll make it 6.
Brian Abena and Ricky January.
Well, that's not 6.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 6.
Counted 6.
So you said number 1 is who again?
Skalkberger.
Skalk.
Unbelievable
Okay.
guy. Ooh. Something that stood out.
That's a top number 1.
Yeah, something that stood out about Skalk. We play Auckland. It's like a bit of a depleted Stormer side. We play Auckland Blues in Auckland. It's a tough venue. I mean, the Springboks never lost a test yet. Is it called Eden Park? Eden Park at Eden Park. So we played the Blues there. Half-time, we were behind 8-6 in a wet game. It's an ugly game. It's a dog fight. It's like, and I knew if we lose Skalk now, then geez, man.
It's going to be a long day.
Our hard man is often now. It will just those island boys. They've got such a huge respect for Skalk, and if he's not there, I know they will just run rampant, And Skalk, 10 minutes before halftime, he goes down. That man never goes down in the field. Never used to go down, but when he goes down, something serious. Skalk had a fractured rib.
Yes, like it's a very big thing.
A fractured rib. I mean, you can hardly breathe. And if you get a knock on it again, it could puncture your lung. You understand? And it was quite high up, So, and the doc was like panicking because as he walked off the field with Skalk, he just said, listen, just the pain. Just give me an injection. Just give me an injection, doc, of pain. And he came to me and he said to me, Allister, this is a high risk. And he explained all those things. And I called Scala. I said, Scala, you make the decision. It's your decision. It's not mine. I'll tell the doctor to... But the doctor's more worried about his position should anything happen. I said, Scala, this is why the doctor's going on. My decision, I'll support you. No, I'm going. He goes out. We won the game. Like 1.98 or something. 8-6, and we got a penalty. Whole second half, 3 points. We won at 9-8. And that is where I had massive respect for Skalk. And when he got the shots, I just had him cry. I walked out. I didn't want to have a look at the guy who gets a bit of jabs here, painkillers, And he played the 80 minutes. No puncture in the lung. Poor doc didn't know where to put his head in. But I said, Doc, don't worry. Sometimes you have to take the risks, It's just, I know you sign that medical code of, I know, Doc, but rugby is a bit different. Sometimes you give and you survive. Other times and we all right, thanks.
No,
got to win it is lucky. So Skalk is tough. He's quite clever. He's a really good rugby player. He understands the game. He had a massive, what do you call it? Mere temper. He was like on the edge all the time. That's why he got so much penalized in that. And but we worked on that, and he was a good leader. He became a good leader. Yeah.
All right.
That's why he's been my number one.
I can get it. I can understand the whole getting injured like that and crying and still going out to win the game. Ugh, could never be me. I'm a softie. But but yeah, I think to wrap it up, Toti, can I call you that?
Well, that is how I'm known in the Eastern Cape. Tuti, Tuti. T-O-E.
What does it mean?
I'll never say that. I won't give the explanation of that nickname. I got it in Grahamstown years ago. Okay. I told the people in Cape Town, they just wanted to know my nickname. I said, when we win the Super Rugby, Super 14, first Super 12, when we win it, we lost in a final 1 year. And the guy asked me, said, did we win the Super Rugby title? No, I can't tell. And then we got to the semi-final, did it? No. So I never divulge. I never know. I can't tell it.
You can't reveal it?
But an embarrassing thing. No, don't worry about it. Not yet.
I'll send you an invoice. I need the exclusive.
When EP qualifies for Currie Cup, I'll give you the story.
Damn.
Is that a deal? Tell Tema they've got to play hard.
Well, as I said, you can run. But let's get him running first. But thank you so much, sir. I think the one last thing I need from you, just looking in your own camera. I've got your own camera.
Nice treatment,
yeah, just a word of, encouragement, inspiration, a word of the day, just a bit of, advice to all the people that are trying to make it in life, and just give them a word of inspiration, if you may.
It's when you get asked on the run like this, it's quite tough. But what comes to mind immediately is the motto that we've settled on. And I like it because any person can sort of live by that. Our motto for the year is EP is best of us. So all I want people to do, whatever you do, just give your best. And sometimes your best is not good enough, but at least you know. When you look in the mirror, you know, I've given my best. Given my best to my kids, to my team, to my Lord. I've given my best to my job, you know. So best of us, best of you should be taking your places.
And there you have it, from the legend himself, the best of us. Guys, thank you so, so much for joining us here on Beyond the Game, another exclusive from yours truly, GCJ. So please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share. You know, click the subscribe button and follow us on all our social media platforms. I'll tell you where to find this legend real soon. I don't think he has any social media platforms. So, so guys, thank you so, so much for joining us. It has been good being with you. So thank you so much for your time as well. And I truly, truly appreciate this. So yeah, guys, Beyond the Game. And it's a wrap.